Good morning, third graders. Today is Tuesday. It is the day after Memorial Day, and you are officially all done with your fractions unit. So congratulations, you made it through it. Woohoo! For this week, we're going to focus on division. We did do some division in the classroom before we left, but today we're going to kind of do a quick review because there are some things that we need you to remember when you leave us and you go to fourth grade. On Thursday, you're going to get a lesson that is brand new information. So we just need to review today to get you ready for Thursday. So when we see a division problem, a lot of times at the top it will say find the quotient. And if you remember, that word is quotient. And a quotient is the answer to a division problem. So in the Google form that you'll see today, it will say find the quotient, and we want you to remember that vocabulary word, that a quotient is the answer to a division problem. So the first strategy that we're going to review is the model strategy, or like act it out. That involves a piece of paper and a pencil, which you will probably want, so you may need to pause this video and go grab that. You also can act it out or model it using cereal. So if you wanted to, just like that fractions video we did before, if you want to get a piece of paper and a pencil, grab that. If you want to use cereal or goldfish crackers or something, you can go get those as well. But we're going to act out the division problem that we have and talk about the numbers that are in our problem. So first there are 10 hummingbirds and 2 feeders in my backyard. If there are an equal number of birds at each feeder, how many birds are at each one? The numbers that we're working with are 10 and 2. 10 is bigger than 2. And in a division equation, that means that our 10 must come first. That number is called the dividend, and that means the total number of things that we have. So we have 10 hummingbirds and 2 feeders. Again, 10 is bigger, so 10 is our dividend. That's the first number in our equation. So this is how I would write that. 10 divided by 2 equals our quotient, which we have to find. So what I would do is think in my head, okay, I gotta picture this, I gotta act this out and model it. There are 10 hummingbirds and there are 2 feeders. So I'm gonna draw 2 feeders, or 2 circles. And then I'm gonna share out my hummingbirds to each one to find out how many are there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now I have to look at each feeder and figure out how many hummingbirds are there. And of course we know the answer is 5. So our quotient is 5. So 10 divided by 2 equals 5. And that is how you can use paper and a pencil to act out a division problem. Our next division strategy involves skip counting. So I have a new question here. We're going to look at that and we're going to look at the numbers that we have. Gracie uses 10 beads on each necklace she makes. She has 60 beads to use. How many necklaces can Gracie make? Now, a common problem here is we see that number 10 and we see that number 60, and we want to write a division equation that looks like this. 10 divided by 60 because the 10 is first. But unfortunately, that can't happen. We have to remember that our dividend is the biggest number, and the dividend is that number that comes first in a division equation. So even though we see the 10 first, we have to write the 60 first. So 60 divided by 10. Now what we can do to skip count to find that quotient, or that answer, is we look at the small number. This is the divisor. And we skip count by the divisor and stop when we get to the dividend. So that means I'm going to skip count by 10 and stop at 60. So that might look something like this. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. How many times did I count by tens? 6. So that is my quotient. 60 divided by 10 is 6. I skip counted by the small number and stopped at the big number. Let's do another problem with that really quick because that might be kind of a newer one for some of you. We'll pick a 5. So if I had 20 divided by 5 and I had to find the quotient, I skip count by 5s and stop at 20. 5, 10, 15, 20. How many is that? 4. The quotient is 4. So skip counting is a quick way to find the quotient in a division problem. The last thing that we need to do today is review how to do a 2-part problem. And what that means is you will still be doing division, but you have to do a different operation first. And for us right now, that operation is either going to be addition or subtraction. So let's take a look at that. Sandy bakes 18 pies. She keeps 2 of the pies. She sells the rest to 4 people at a bake sale. Each person bought the same number of pies. How many pies does Sandy sell to each person? So she starts out with 18 pies, but she doesn't sell that many. She keeps 2 to herself, and she sells the rest. That sounds like a subtraction problem, right? So what we would start with is taking our 18 pies, subtract the 2 that Sandy keeps for herself, and we're left with 16. So 16 pies go to the bake sale, and she sells those pies to 4 people. So now we're done with that first part. So now our numbers are 16 and 4. So she has 16 pies that she is going to sell or share between 4 people. And we want to know how many pies does each person get. So you could draw 4 groups and share out 16. You could skip count by 4 and stop at 16 to figure out your quotient. Let's do some skip counting. 4, 8, 12, 16, 4. That works. 16 divided by 4 is 4. But before I could solve that problem, I had to do some subtraction. Now, you are going to get 2 two-part problems. They are the last 2 problems in your Google form today. You will know because at the end of the problem, I even wrote think carefully. So we're not trying to hide it from you. We want you to make sure that you picture that problem really well. You do some addition or subtraction first, and then you do your division, all right, to solve those 2-part problems. Some of you might have to watch this video more than once, and that's okay. You might just have to go back and watch this piece a little bit, and that's okay too. But after this video, please go do your Google form. Think carefully. You can solve it by modeling it. You can solve it by skip counting, whatever works for you. And if you're really stuck, message your teacher. That's what we're here for, guys. We want to help you. We want to make sure that you're ready for 4th grade, and this is a really important skill to have. So good luck. Happy mathing. Talk to you later.